Welcome back, and we begin this segment in South Africa, where the chief executive of South Africa's biggest lender by market value, First Rand Limited, John Burger, says the chances of a sovereign downgrade for Africa's most industrialized country this year had risen due to a stagnant economy and political uncertainty. John Burger said after reporting the bank's annual results that a downgrade would negatively impact lending and lead to banks tightening credit extension. Moody's rates South Africa 2 notches above junk, while both S&P and Fitch left ratings at BBB minus in June, 1 notch above junk. However, both agencies warned about the weakness of growth and heightened political risks. A police investigation into Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan over a surveillance unit set up years ago at the tax agency when he headed the department has rocked local markets and led to concerns that rating agencies could downgrade the country in their reviews expected by December. Zimbabwe's economy is now expected to grow 1.2% in 2016 from the 1.4% forecast earlier in the year. This is according to the Finance Minister Patrick Chinemasa, who said this in his mid-year budget speech on Thursday. Chinemasa also told Parliament that the budget deficit had already overshot the target in the first half of the year at $623 million, and that the shortfall for the whole year could rise above $1 billion. Meanwhile, the finance minister has announced that the government will cut 25,000 jobs in the civil service because it can't afford to foot the bills. And Tanzania's gross domestic product grew 5.5% in the first quarter of 2016 compared with 5.7% in the same period a year ago, weighed down by slumps in construction, transport and manufacturing sectors. The state-run National Bureau of Statistics said in a statement that the construction sector grew 4.3% in January to March compared with 23.2% a year ago due to low investment in their activity during the period under review. And in Guinea-Bissau, the Equatorial Guinea, the International Monetary Fund says that country's economy, of course, is expected to contract nearly 10% this year after shrinking 7.4% in 2015 on the back of declining revenues from its dominant oil and gas sector. The tiny Central African nation's oil and gas exports continued roughly 80% of overall revenues last year, while the hydrocarbon sector share of gross domestic product fell 8.9% in 2015 and is expected to contract by a further 11.2% this year. Other economic activity is on track to slump by 8%. The country is facing a current account deficit of 11.8%, while inflation is expected to remain low. The statement said Equatorial Guinea's economy was unlikely to grow in the medium term. And that's it on the program for today and, of course, for the week. Thank you very much for your time and for being a part of this program. Do have a wonderful weekend. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwawu.